Welcome back to another Madden 26 ratings related video. Today we're going to be looking at the top 10 sleepers to trade for in Madden 26 franchise. Now, there's going to obviously be some names you have heard of, you know of. That's not really the point of a sleeper, right? Shedeur Sanders, if he was one of the guys on my list, which he's not, he would technically count. We're going to count anyone under a 70 overall. I think that is a fair assessment. And, of course, let's get into it without further ado. Number 10. We're going to be going with Dion Walker, 69 overall, 6'8", 328-pound defensive tackle. They have him listed at 6'8". He's probably closer to 6'7" in real life. Not the fastest, right? 6'1" speed, 73 XL. Strength at 82 isn't the best, but 76 power move, 73 finesse, 79 block shed. Has some pretty good tackling. Pursuit and play rec is decent. And then, of course, he's 6'8", dude. How many 6'8" DTs do you know of in the league? That's all I'm going to say. He's going to come in at number 10. Kind of a weaker one, but he is really good ratings-wise. Just how much will that strength factor? And honestly, will that height be a hindrance rather than a help? And then another little bit of a weaker one at number 9. We have Marcus Bowe, 6'4", 302 pounds. Pretty athletic, 84 strength. Injury, stamina, toughness is fine, but look at the pass block ratings. Look at the run block ratings. They're decent. They're in the 70s. For a 66 overall, this is not a bad player at all. This guy is probably closer to a 69, 70 rated if you were to look at those ratings objectively. The big thing with him is not only that, he is, a younger player and, he is a 66 overall with decent ratings, but there is a sliver. And I mean a sliver of a chance that he does have star development trade. A guy that most thought was a little bit better than where he was drafted. So there's a chance he is hidden dev. If he's not, maybe he doesn't make the list. But I'm just keeping him on the list on the odd chance that he might actually have hidden dev. We now have another offensive lineman. I think this one's a little bit less questionable as we have 69 overall Jarrod Wilson, 6'3", 310. So you could probably play him at guard as well. But obviously very athletic. Strength is solid. Injury and toughness is good. Blocking, very solid, right? Base blocking, 74 each. Impact blocking, solid. Run block, finesse. Pass block, finesse, both 76. Solid blocking there. And, of course, just a young player that... Now, if this guy isn't hidden development trade, I'd be very shocked. I'd be very surprised if Jarrod Wilson is an elite star. But I suppose it is potentially possible. I just think that he's one of those perfect sleepers that deserves to have hidden dev. Now sitting at number 7, we finally have an offensive skill position player in Brashard Smith, 194-pound, 5'10", Brashard Smith of the Kansas City Chiefs, 93 speed, 93 XL, change direction 85 is a little lower than I would like, right? Juke move though at 81, and his catching ratings not actually bad at all. Definitely can be thrown to, definitely can be trusted. This is a guy that, if you're a team that has no running back that's young, like per se, I can't really even say per se because the Cardinals don't really have that problem. But a team that has no young running back and you want to develop someone new, this is, I think, a guy that a lot of people are going to end up going to just because of that speed alone. High potential player and, has ratings that are good. Injuries decent, toughness is decent, stamina is a little concerning, but he looks like a pretty damn good backup at minimum, if not a, kind of develop from the ground up running back. These are the types of players that I like to draft in fantasy drafts all the time. Going to be one of our favorite picks, I think, almost every single fantasy draft we do. And here, sitting at number 6, is Tyler Barron. There's a lot of really good defensive linemen in this game, especially rookies, especially the DT position we'll get into in a little bit. Tyler Barron, 6'5", 258 pounds, 85 speed, 89 XL, 72 power move, 78 block shed, pursuit of 76, hit power of 81. Does suck that he's a 23-year-old player, but this guy gives me a lot of Shaka Toney vibes of the past, but even better than him. It would be nice if he could flip power move and block shed, but obviously that's not how it goes. But obviously a very good player, easily one of those. If you have no edge rusher or an old edge rusher that's like 73 overall, why not trade for Tyler Barron, give him a start? And, of course, he's a Jet, so they know how to draft their edge rushers. And now we move on to number 5, one of our favorite positions to be looking for sleepers in, which is linebacker. Kane Maddeno, 6'3", 222 pounds, 90 speed, 92 XL, 89 jumping, and then the big one, 80 change of direction. That change of direction is so important. I know a lot of people know about that, but some people still don't know how important change of direction is. You could have a 90 speed, 90 excel player. If he has 68 change of direction, they're going to feel so damn slow. Of course, coverage ratings are a little lackluster. Block shed, a little lackluster. 77 hit power is probably going to get the job done. The big problem with linebackers this year, off-ball linebackers, is just 50 catching. The catching for almost all these guys are really bad. It's really bad. It was between him and two other players, but I just felt like with his size, speed, and change direction, he was just a little bit better than them. Even though he has that bad catching, this guy is going to be an insane user. Problem is, 24 years old, so he's still on my list. It's just, he's kind of a rotational guy that you can definitely get some great snaps out of, especially in the special teams department. Would have been higher if not for the catching and, of course, the age. It wouldn't be a sleeper video without a tight end. Elijah Arroyo is going to be our sleeper pick for number 4. 6'5", 254, speed of 87, excel of 89. Catching's pretty damn solid with 79. Spec and catch of traffic is 74 and 73. Still obviously raw. That's going to be the case for all of these sleepers for the most part. But for a tight end, speed is obviously super big, and he's got all the ratings you would want. The only issue I would have is really his injury and stamina. Everything else, though, spot on. He's an okay blocker, not spectacular, but okay. He's going to get the job done. This is a guy that, if you saw his potentials, his 40 time in a CPU draft, you're probably drafting him in the second or third round. So definitely a guy at 68 overall that is totally worth going for. You're probably thinking Dion Walker again, but no. Number 3, which is kind of contradictory for number 10, is the entire defensive tackle position. I don't know what it is about DTs this Madden, but they are all very good. Let's take a look at some of the other guys. Elijah Roberts, 75 power move, 71 finesse, 76 block shed. Vernon Broughton, 77 power move, 72 finesse, 74 block shed. Pebbles, cool name, 77 power move, 75 finesse, 75 block shed. CJ West, 76 power move, 82 block shed. Riley Mills, 75 power move, 75 block shed. Tonka Hemingway, 74 power move, 80 block shed. Pagis, 71 finesse, 78 block shed. Would love to see 82 impact block. Would love to see a little bit more blocking ratings. They didn't really kind of dig into that a little bit. Black, 75 block shed, 70 power move, all the way down as a 67 overall. Kayonte Hamilton, I actually made a tweet about this. Interesting card you got there. 71 power move, 73 block shed. I mean, these guys are all very much so usable, especially Warren Brinson of my Green Bay Packers. Of course, I own them. I'm an owner. That's how that works. Insane. 77 power move, 77 block shed. I mean, these guys are all very, very usable. So the defensive tackle position itself is number 3 because of how many good sleepers there are. Of course, I put Dion Walker on his own card because of how big he is. Like, that's insane. Like, these ratings are great. 6'8", 328 is insane. And before we get into our final 2, which for some people could be considered predictable, we are going to go into 3 honorable mentions. Number 1 honorable mention, speaking of defensive tackle, is Desmond Watson. 62 overall, 6'6", 415-pound defensive tackle. Of course, not bad block shedding, decent tackling, obviously. No speed at all. 41 speed, 45 excel, 96 strength. I really want to see how he plays in-game. I would love to see how he plays. But, of course, this is a super sleeper because it's going to be hard to develop him. But I really hope someone does. We have another one of my favorite fantasy draft type of positions to look for, which is kicker. Kick power? What is that? What that is? Or is he a kick punter? I don't know. But is kicker. Trujillo of the Colts. Decently fast. Who cares about that? 96 kick power, 74 accuracy. And then, while not technically a sleeper because he's not under 70 overall, he's a sleeper position. Kicker, punter, fullback. Those are the positions people don't really pay attention to. Tyler Loop, 97 kick power, 72 accuracy. Those are my 3 honorable mention sleepers. For number 2, basically spoiling number 1 in my opinion, we have Dante Thornton, 68 overall, 6'5" wide receiver with 96 speed. On top of that, though, he has decent release ratings and route running ratings and catching ratings. For a guy that is supposed to be just pure speed, pure development, he actually has a lot to work with. Of course, 82 jumping kind of sucks, but I really haven't even noticed jumping's effects in Madden in how long, so it really doesn't matter in my opinion. Of course, for self-explanatory reasons. Dante Thornton is going to be our number 2, a guy that a lot of people, I think, are going to be trying to trade for and develop. And then for our number 1 sleeper, I think we all knew where this was going, Jalen Milroe, 65 overall, so he is like the perfect example of a sleeper, but 6'2", 216, love the build. I love the 6'2 quarterbacks in-game. 93 speed, 93 excel, 92 throw power, and pretty much all in the 75 range for accuracy, which means you can pretty much hit every throw. We talked about it in the most overpowered rookies as he made the list, sitting, I believe, at number 10, that the accuracy could be affected by the pressure trait, so we'll see what happens with this pressure trait. If it's anywhere near ideal, if it's even like just average, that's not bad, and that will be usable. Juke ability, would have loved to see higher juke move, but he's obviously looking really, really good. Young, and just... he's a guy that a lot of people are going to try to develop for sure. He's the new Malik Willis, in my opinion, of the years recent, Titans draft Malik Willis. That was the basically almost perfect comparison here, but Milroe's even a little bit better. Of course, those are going to be our top 10 sleepers to trade for in Madden 26 franchise. Have you seen some players looking through some of the rookies that I didn't mention that I should have? Maybe I missed out. Let me know in the comment section below. Is there players that should have been changed on this list itself? You're like, why is Kane Maddeno there? He's 24 years old. I totally get that. I want to add as many different position groups as I can on top of just finding really good players. Maybe Marcus Bowe doesn't make sense to you. This is a sleeper list. I try to find some of the biggest sleepers while adding in players that you just can't ignore, like, of course, Dante Thornton and Milroe. But, yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. Tomorrow will be a rebuild. Probably have another Madden related, ratings related video when all of the ratings come out, so be on the lookout for those. Again, appreciate y'all for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, maybe hit the bell notification if you're already subscribed and you just didn't have that on. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, second channel, PK Plays for non-Madden content, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for next video. Thanks to the members, and see